Come on, come on! The thumb drive's loading bar crawled across the screen as I paced in front of the computer. Suddenly, a car screeched into the driveway. Doors slammed. I peeked out the window and I saw 3 men running toward the house.
We saw her going through there.
Panic exploded in my veins. My eyes glued to the screen. 98, 99, 100! I yanked the thumb drive, shoved it into my jacket pocket, and bolted. I darted toward the back door, but 3 men in black suits blocked my escape. Their faces twisted into sneers. Their eyes glinted dangerously. You wouldn't hurt a harmless little girl, right? The first man didn't answer. He lunged at me. Guess not. Big mistake, buddy. I sidestepped, whipped around, and slammed my elbow into his ribs. As he doubled over, I spun and kicked the back of his knee. Before he could recover, I grabbed his arm and flipped him onto his back. He crumpled onto the floor with a groan. 1 down, 2 more to go. The other 2 men exchanged looks, their sneers fading into something close to fear as a low growl rumbled behind me. I spun around to see Boxer, my dog, standing in the shadows, teeth bared, eyes locked on the men. Boxer took a step forward, snarling louder, and the men tripped over and ran away. Good boy. Now let's get the heck out of here before the reinforcements show up. I ran for a few blocks, adrenaline buzzing in my ear. I pulled off my mask and then slammed into something that felt like a wall. But walls didn't have abs. Ouch! I landed on my butt, staring up at what might have been a Greek god. Nope, just Isaac, the new kid in my class. Super attractive and totally mysterious. He never talked to anyone, just sat in the back looking like he ran a gang or something, with his leather jacket and spiked hair giving bad boy vibes.
Hey, are you okay?
His voice was like melted chocolate, and the second his hand touched mine as he helped me to my feet, I was 99% sure I'd forgotten how to speak like a normal human. Okay, I am. Smooth, Tessa. Real smooth. He blinked, clearly wondering if I was having a medical emergency.
Do you need help?
Then, in a moment of sheer panic, I bolted. As I sprinted down the street, one thought burned in my mind. He definitely thinks I'm a lunatic. Like, certifiably. When I finally stumbled into my room, I instantly checked my jacket pocket for the thumb drive, but wait, it was empty. What? My heart pounded. In all this chaos, the thumb drive was gone. Oh no! The next day, I walked into the jail to meet Dad. He was hopeful.
Did you get it?
I did get it, Dad, but I lost it. It probably fell when I was running. Tears burned my eyes, but I blinked them away quickly.
Oh, okay, Tessa. We'll find another way to get me out of here.
But Dad, that evidence was solid proof. I don't think we'll get anything better than that.
The truth will come out when it's supposed to.
I should have secured it better. It's all my fault. A tear escaped and slid down my cheek. Dad wiped it away.
It's not your fault, sweetheart. It's the person who framed me who's to blame.
I love you, Dad. I'll do whatever it takes to get you out of here. I promise.
I love you too, sweetheart. And I know you will.
Hey, besties. My name is Tessa. Before I continue, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All right, let me break it down for you. So, Dad was Mr. Sterling's accountant, the numbers brain behind LuxGlow, the country's largest makeup empire spanning the globe. But beneath the glitz, Dad uncovered the rot. Millions funneled into offshore accounts, fake charity funds for orphans rerouted to Sterling's private accounts and whatnot. That is when he decided to confront Mr. Sterling. And also the beginning of the nightmare. 3 days later, Liam Sterling, his loudmouth football son, went missing, and the police stormed into our house to arrest my dad because Mr. Sterling thinks that my dad is behind the whole kidnapping. This was a setup, and I couldn't let my dad sit in jail for a crime he didn't commit. I had to uncover the truth and set him free, no matter what it took. The next day at school, I was sitting in the cafeteria trying to figure out how I was going to sneak into the Sterling mansion to collect some evidence. Then I overheard some of Liam's jock friends talking at the table next to me.
I still can't believe his dad's actually throwing that gala this year with Liam missing and all. They can't just cancel it, dude. It's packed with all their investors. If they don't throw it, their whole company's gonna tank. And I heard their biggest investor, Madame Pierre, isn't gonna show this year, but her daughter might.
Daughter? Wait, I whipped out my phone, barely registering the rest of the conversation. My fingers flew over the screen. Madame Pierre. Okay, a rich French lady who runs a modeling agency in France and owns a piece of LuxGlow. Her daughter, Penelope, been MIA for years, stuck in some fancy boarding school in the UK. This was it. This was my golden ticket. The night of the gala, I was fully transformed and ready to go. I stood outside the Sterling mansion, Boxer by my side. All right, buddy, I'm going in. If things go south, I'll blow the whistle. You go hide and wait, okay? As Boxer darted off, I took a deep breath. I strutted up to the doorway like I was born to be there. Penelope Pierre! The guy by the door looked me up and down, and my stomach twisted into knots.
Miss Pierre, it's a pleasure to meet you. If you could just hand over your invitation, we'll let you inside.
Oh, crap. I hadn't thought about that part. But no way I was backing down now. Are you telling me? Me, the daughter of Madame Pierre, cannot get into this petite soirée?
Miss Penelope, I can't.
I could be in Monte Carlo, sipping on some champagne, surrounded by the finest people. But no, I decided to bless this tiny event with my presence, and now I am not allowed inside?
Ma'am, please keep your voice down.
I will not! I will call my mother, and she will put every penny from this insignificant company if I am not let in this instant. Just then, Mrs. Sterling, Liam's stepmom, appeared, all smiles, and practically rushed to me. Ah, Penelope, please come right in. Mrs. Sterling introduced me to everyone, as I nodded with a plastered smile on my face. But inside, my heart was racing. I didn't have time for this. I had to get away. Time was running out. Mrs. Sterling, I would like to use the powder room, please. After Mrs. Sterling gave me directions, I flashed a fake smile and slipped out. The moment I saw the stairs, I knew where I was headed. Liam's room. His computer might have the evidence I needed. I was almost there when I heard a loud voice coming from one of the rooms as I was passing by.
You bumbling idiot! Look at what you did to my suit! This thing's probably worth more than your entire family's yearly salary! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Before the waiter could finish apologizing, the guy slapped him. Oh no, he didn't! My blood boiled, and without even thinking, I entered the room. Oh mon Dieu! Your beautiful suit is totally ruined! Because it's stuffed with, how you say, a big fat turd. The guy's face reddened, then he huffed and stormed off, muttering under his breath. I turned to the waiter. It was Isaac. The sight of him sent a wave of butterflies fluttering in my stomach. How could he look this good in a waiter suit? Are you okay? Did he hurt you? Were you traumatized by the sight of such ugly, hideous fabric?
I'd better get back to work.
And just like that, the butterflies died. Of course he didn't even care enough to say thank you. What did I expect from him? Shaking it off, I turned toward the stairs again. This was no time for distractions. Not when I was this close. I darted up the stairs, heart pounding. Each door I passed made my nerves spike harder. When I finally found Liam's room, I slipped inside, pulse racing. I sat at his computer, barely believing my luck. No password! Wow! I moved fast, fingers flying over the keys. Scrolling through his messages, my eyes went wide when I stumbled on the thread. Wow, Liam, what have you gotten yourself into? Liam owed someone a crazy amount of money. I couldn't believe it. And the day before he disappeared, they threatened to make him pay. I plugged in the thumb drive, heart hammering as the messages transferred. This is it, the evidence I needed to free Dad. 2 minutes later, just as I pulled out the thumb drive, I heard a voice outside the door and my heart dropped straight into my stomach. I froze. The door. Was someone coming in?
Yes, I'm entering the room now.
She better not be entering now.
Listen, just trust me. I already asked for the 20 million ransom, and once we get the money, we'll disappear.
Ransom? 20 million? I backed up, shaking. I could feel the blood draining from my face. Mrs. Sterling was involved in Liam's kidnapping. The door handle creaked. It was opening. Oh my God! What am I gonna say? What excuse? I'm sleepwalking? No, that's dumb. Was just getting inspiration for my room in the UK. But ew, not with all these dirty clothes. Boxer, you're my last hope! I reached for my whistle just as I was about to blow into it.
Mrs. Sterling, Mr. Sterling is requesting your presence in his study room. He's with a potential investor and needs your input.
Oh, thank you, Isaac. The door clicked shut and my heart actually sighed in relief. With trembling fingers, I grabbed the doorknob and peeked outside. No one in sight. I stepped out of the room.
Hi there. Again? What are you doing here?
My stomach did a weird flip. I spun around to face Isaac. I was searching for the toilet. Then my heels got caught on the carpet, and I swear I was this close to eating the floor until Isaac's hand shot out and caught me. Our faces were so close, and he smelled so nice.
I'm sorry about not saying thank you before. I was needed in the kitchen, so thank you for earlier.
You're welcome. Wait, why am I still in his arms? Then he did this thing where he just stared at me, like really stared, and I felt my cheeks heat up.
I feel like I've seen you before.
That's because I go to the high school on Cedar Drive.
But I thought you were studying in the UK.
OMG, Tessa, you just blew your cover. My brain scrambled for a lie, something that sounded believable. Mom just enrolled me, that's why I was in town, so you probably saw me. He blinked at me and I could feel my palms getting sweaty.
If I'd seen you there, trust me, I'd remember.
Then he gave me the world's most flirtatious smile, and all the butterflies rushed back. I finally pulled away from his arms. Thanks for the catch. See you around. I hurried down the stairs and out of the house, Boxer right behind me as I ran down the street. As soon as I got home, I called over Dad's lawyer, handed him the flash drive, and spilled everything I overheard Mrs. Sterling saying.
You did good, Tessa. Your dad would be proud. With this evidence, we'll definitely get him out of jail.
And Liam?
The authorities will handle Liam's case.
I thanked him as he left, but honestly, something else was eating up at me. Tomorrow at school, I had to pretend to be Penelope Pierre. The next day, I reached the school gate, sweat trickling down my back. Was I really gonna pretend to be Penelope because of some hot boy? No way! I spun to leave and smacked right into someone.
Penelope? Where are you going?
The bell rang before I could answer. Isaac stuck by me all day, and by lunch, I was laughing at his jokes like an idiot. By the last bell, I was actually having fun, and he suggested we meet by his locker the next day. After school, I walked home smiling over the amazing day I had with Isaac. But the second I opened the front door, the smile dropped and I froze. Daddy, you're home!
All thanks to my baby girl.
I missed you so much.
I missed you too, sweetheart. But, why are you dressed like this? Is it a drama club thing?
Oh, I'd totally forgotten about my Penelope vibe. Long story. I spilled everything to Dad, from eavesdropping on Liam's friends to the whole pretend to be Penelope drama today.
It sounds like you like Isaac. If you do, you need to be yourself, Tessa, not Penelope. The real you is enough.
Deep down, I knew Dad was right, but Isaac liked Penelope, not Tessa. But I knew I had to come clean, even if it broke my own heart. The next day, dressed as Tessa, I walked to Isaac's locker, my stomach doing somersaults. When I got there, he wasn't around, so I wandered the halls. When I finally found him, my heart sank. There he was, smooching some stupid girl. And then, as if on cue, he looked up and saw me.
Tessa, wait! I can explain.
But I didn't wait. I ran, tears blurring my vision. I was so stupid to think, even as Penelope, that he'd actually like me. Isaac caught up to me and grabbed my arm, spinning me around to face him. Let me go! Go back to kissing your ugly girlfriend!
First of all, she's not my girlfriend. And second, she kissed me.
Like I care.
Could have fooled me, Penelope.
I froze. Wait, you knew?
I notice everything about you. The way you curl your hair when you're nervous, how your eyes change color when you're excited. Of course I knew.
My heart skipped a beat. I didn't think you noticed me.
I noticed you because I like you.
I felt like fireworks were going off in my chest. I like you too. Over the next few days, Isaac and I spent every free moment together, and sometimes we'd even hang out at my place. Isaac always offered to make the snacks, which seemed normal enough, except every time he'd disappear into the kitchen for way longer than needed. One time I went in to check on him, but he wasn't there. Then suddenly he came in from outside, his shirt off, and I swear I nearly choked. He said something about
a busted pipe.
And
needed to fix it.
But all I could focus on was his rock-hard abs. One evening, Isaac showed up for our movie night with flowers.
I'd like to take you out on a date tonight.
My heart stopped for a second. I'd like that. Oh my God, I was blushing like so hard. And thanks for the flowers. I dashed to my room to change, then stepped out to find Isaac leaning against a motorcycle.
Get on.
I hopped on, and it wasn't as terrifying as I thought it would be. Isaac took me to a cute restaurant, and we had an amazing time. As we were leaving the restaurant, Isaac took my hand, and for a second, I thought this was the perfect ending to the perfect date. That was until we stepped outside and he pushed me away from him. What the? My heart was pounding as I watched Isaac take on 4 guys, each of them twice his size. When the last guy hit the pavement, Isaac turned around looking for me.
Tessa, time to go.
He grabbed my hand and we hopped onto his bike. Before I could catch my breath, Isaac sped off. A black SUV was following us. We tore down the highway until he suddenly swerved onto a dirt road, heading up into the mountains. But after a few miles, Isaac's bike sputtered and died. Isaac, what are we gonna do? We were stranded in the middle of nowhere. At least we'd lost the black SUV. I glanced at my phone. No signal. No way to call for help. I could practically feel the panic rising in my chest.
We'll figure it out.
Figure out what? How to survive a bear attack or bury one of us after the mountain lions get hungry? And who were those guys? Normal people don't fight like that.
It's nothing for you to worry.
Before he could finish, a car rolled past. That's Mrs. Sterling's car. What on earth was she doing here?
Tessa, wait!
Too late. I bolted after the car. Isaac close behind, which stopped in front of a cabin a short distance away. The door opened. Liam? The name escaped my mouth in a half-croak, half-shriek. A shroak? Mrs. Sterling and Liam turned toward me, eyes narrowing.
Boys, get them!
Men dropped from the trees like ninjas surrounding us. One of them sprayed a weird, sharp-smelling gas in our faces. My knees buckled and everything faded to black. When I woke up, I was in a nice, comfortable bed. I shot up, panic flooding my brain as I remembered what happened. I bolted to the door, half expecting it to be locked. But what stopped me cold wasn't the fact that the door was open. It was the sight of Mrs. Sterling, Liam, and Isaac calmly sitting at the table and sipping tea and eating sandwiches. Wait, am I dreaming? Mrs. Sterling smiled at me as though this was some luxury resort.
You're not dreaming. Come, have some tea.
As if I'm gonna eat from someone who just kidnapped me. Spill it! The story that tumbled out of Mrs. Sterling's mouth nearly knocked me off my feet.
I had no choice but to kidnap Liam to protect him. Mr. Sterling was trying to frame Liam for his crimes, and I couldn't let that happen.
Wait, what? But why the ransom? You're rich.
Mr. Sterling is rich. I don't have access to any of his accounts. I wanted to help Liam out of debt and give him a shot at a fresh start. How do we know you're telling the truth?
Mrs. Sterling pulled a thumb drive from her bag and held it up.
Everything to put Mr. Sterling behind bars is on this.
Isaac shot out of his seat and snatched it away from Mrs. Sterling.
I've received the package.
And just like that, men and women in black suits, glasses, and earpieces swarmed the cabin. What on earth was happening here?
These agents are gonna take you and Liam to a safe place until we have Mr. Sterling behind bars.
Isaac turned to me. You're an agent? The same girl I saw Isaac smooching earlier popped up, hooked her arm through his, and gave me a smug look.
Red Eye's men are in town. They tried to jump me tonight. I'll let the boss know. Nice work, Agent. Befriending the natives too close to the case.
You used me? Did our date night even mean anything to him? Everything began to make sense. Him being at the party, him staying extra long in the kitchen at home. He was probably snooping around.
Tessa, I needed to make sure your father wasn't involved, and we've been trying to bring down Mr. Sterling for years.
Before he could finish, I slapped him hard. Stay away from me! I stormed out of the cabin, wrapping my arms around myself like that would stop the tears from falling. No way was I gonna let him see how much he hurt me. An agent offered to drop me home, and I didn't argue. But just as I stepped out of the car, ready to run inside, a freaking helicopter landed on our front lawn, and guess who popped out? Isaac.
Tessa, please hear me out.
No! You! Before I could finish, Boxer charged, slamming Isaac to the ground.
Boxer! Hey, buddy. Remember me? I'm Tessa's friend.
Friend? Friends don't use other friends.
Tessa, can you please get him off of me? There's something I need to tell you.
Say it from there!
I love you, Tessa. And yeah, it started as a job, but it turned into something else. Please forgive me.
And you think by telling me you love me, I should forgive you?
Well, yeah.
I'm not that easy, bucko. You've got work to do. First thing, you owe me another date. This time, no thugs.
Whatever you say, ma'am. Now, please get Boxer off of me.